Redbelly Crossing is based on a cold case, so I think it's amazing that
Good.
you're putting a spotlight on something that, you know, hasn't been
Mm,
surfaced and isn't getting maybe the attention needed because
yeah.
it's so long. So how do you go
Mm.
about choosing what you're going to focus on and doing the research that's needed for it?
Yeah, that was difficult territory that I kind of stumbled clumsily into because, long story short, my very eccentric mother revealed to me in 2022 that she never told the police about an encounter that she had when she was 17. And she believes that that encounter that she had was with the perpetrator in a real cold case murder in Coogee and Randwick. In 1973 and 1974, there were these two murders. So first of all, I was like, "Excuse me, have you not noticed that for the last 8 years or whatever it is, I've been trying to be the foremost crime writer in the country. Could you possibly have mentioned this at any point before now? What is wrong with you?" And she said, "Oh, I forgot all about it. Sorry." And to be fair, it's probably not halfway near the most interesting thing that's ever happened to her. She's a wildflower, that one.
Yeah.
And so I took her account to the police and they said, "Thanks heaps for this 47-year-old tip that you've provided. This guy that you saw 47 years ago. Yep. Good on you." And it was kind of like, "What do you want me to do with this?" And I just sort of very arrogantly and with that same, that personality that says, "But surely," when the message to me essentially was, "This isn't gonna be what solves the crime." I'm like, "Yeah, but but surely there's more," and so I kinda kept going, and I kept nibbling at it, and nibbling and nibbling and nibbling. First, trying to solve the crime myself. I was like, "Alright, step aside, gentlemen. Uh, I shall become the citizen sleuth.
Yep.
ChatGPT, how do you solve a 50-year-old cold case serial killing?" It turns out that being a homicide detective is a whole job,
Really?
um, and one does not simply become a homicide detective.
Who would have thought?
Uh, I know, there's training involved. So I wasn't very good at that. And then, I'm not a true crime writer. I don't have the journalistic rigor, that is required. I just thought to myself, I write fiction, and how can I use my superpower of writing fiction to help this case? And I thought, I don't want to write a fiction related to this case or speak about this case w in a way that might hurt the actual people involved, you know what I mean? Because, there are real people. So these two women that were murdered in their apartments in Coogee and Randwick, Lynette White and Maria Smith, um, they have husbands who found them murdered and who have been campaigning for the last half a century to try to find, who killed them. And I could hurt their feelings. I could somehow, if I did this wrong, increase what must be an incredible amount of pain
Mm.
that these men have been through. I could add to it, and what a horror thought that was. And so I asked for their permission, which was terrifying because I thought, they could very well and would be well within their rights to turn around and say, "How dare you? How dare you?" It's one thing to exploit a bunch of builders in your backyard
Yeah.
for go out and juice them, bring them out of their juiciness, their stories, and very much. Thank you very much, gentlemen, and going aside with that, but to do it to, to do it to murder victims, victims of homicide, and I said, uh, essentially, I do this with the intention of helping you. And they believed me, and they saw me for someone who I was, who was so struck by these horrific crimes, and how my mother could easily have been a victim of this guy, but for her own smarts in the moment, she managed to slip away from him. Yeah, and so I have been very carefully continuing that journey, of trying to help in this case. I'm not so arrogant to believe that, one of these days, something that I do is going to solve it. I mean, I hope that, but I don't
Yeah.
expect it. But, hopefully I've shown Paul and Stephen, the husbands, who I have formed beautiful friendships with. Hopefully, I have showed them that a random person can, from out of nowhere, can become aware of what happened to them and to their wives, and become so outraged and so driven, about that, that even after half a century, people still care.
Yeah.
I said that to them. I really care about you, and I care about what happened to you, and I'm so sorry. And what, the loss of your wives, even though I didn't know them, and this is not my pain, it's yours. But, it doesn't fade away. It doesn't
Yeah.
just go away. Mm. Yeah, so that happened. And it's still happening. We're still doing things related to the case, and trying to, as I'm doing right now, trying to
Yeah.
raise awareness
Yeah.